Hello, and welcome to the Primary Wonderland. I'm Jen. I'm a 19-year veteran teacher in her second year of preschool, and today is the day we're taking the classroom tour. Let's go. All right, so when you're seeing this, we will already be back in our classroom with our preschool students. But the day that I film this, it is the day before school begins. So of course the classroom is looking so nice. Everything is in order. So I would love to take you on a classroom tour and show you each section of our room. Now remember, this is a preschool classroom. So we do have our centers are play-based. So I will show you each center and what we have in it. I'm really excited. I think this is the best setup that I have had in all my years of teaching, and I'm really happy with it. And there's really nothing I would change this year, which is not common. Normally I have that one spot that I don't love in the room as much as I love the rest, but this year I'm really happy with the way it turned out, and I can't wait to take you along. So are you ready? Let's go do this. Come on. Okay, starting with when we walk in the room, we have our calendar and our flag for pledging the allegiance. Followed by our objectives and I can statements and our visible schedule. Down here we have our block center. Underneath I actually have these color-coded. You'd seen that a couple videos back when I was putting those in. And then these are a huge hit. They love the rods builders. And then if I turn this way, I'm trying to go slow so I don't make you all sick. We've got our classroom jobs as well as our what's for lunch. The kids put their pictures there based on what they want for lunch. And then the button actually explains what is for lunch for those kids that need the picture and the audio as well. Okay, and then we'll keep moving around. So we're moving. We're going to do our friendship flower tomorrow. I'm very, very excited about that. They'll put all their little kindness petals on. If you look here, you'll see. So what makes a good friend? Keeping promises, standing up for their friends, giving compliments. So they'll put all of those little flowers on. And then we haven't gotten our iPads yet. And below that is our puppet center. And then we have our Promethean board that definitely needs a really, really good cleaning. But we do use that as one of our centers. The kids can actually use it for drawing and writing. So that's why it looks like a wreck. I gotta clean it up. Our expectations for the carpet, our focus wall, our letter wall, I'm gonna show you briefly. And then my rocking chair. Moving around the classroom. Here are some of the books that I generally read. Oh, pardon the bell. For the first part of the first month of the year, I have a couple books that I like to read. And there's Franny. We do the Frog Street curriculum here. Our focus letter. So next week we're going to be starting our focus letters, and we are talking all about the letter T first. So here is that chart. And then, oh, I love this center. This is our take a break center. I actually use this during centers, but then also if the child needs a break when we are working, we also have this center as well. And I'll pan up the wall, and then that moves into, I'll pull back, this is our apple cart that you saw in last video that we put together. So this moves into our dramatic play, which is one of our kids' favorite spots. Our students really love dramatic play, boys and girls alike. They love it. So it's one of our favorite spots in the classroom. And they can dress up in this center as well. We also put the little baby dolls in here. There's a little pantry. Some telephones, which are always fun. Because our babies are used to having cell phones, so when they see those, we kind of have to explain just a little bit. They get the hang of it, though, very, very quickly. All right. And then we are moving. This is actually our part of our dramatic play, but we kind of separate it for a different center. So we have our doll center. You'll have to pardon it. A couple of our kids were playing in here, so there's a couple things that just need to be fixed, but that's preschool life, isn't it? So we have our castle. There's also a fairy house in there. I also put the dinosaurs in here because they love the dinosaurs living in the house. There's people that they can put in there. There's pets. So they love the center. And then pulling back, we have our Lego center. It's really a Lego table. There's two sides that they can play with Legos. Here is our car center with our car rug. And I'll show you what's inside. Always a good time. The kids love this. Bunch of little cars, big cars, fire trucks, airplanes, all sorts of transportation. So it's kind of like our transportation station. Ooh, pardon me, I'm doing this with one hand. And then right next door, we are moving into our train station. So our trains were so popular that we actually made it our own station. And I'll give you a little look at that. And we also put our farm and our tractors in here. And they love the trains. But it was so popular, the cars and the trains both alike, that we kind of split those. And 3 kids can be in each of those stations. So you can have 6 kids in this general area, which is really nice. But it's divided so that way, and they know they keep it in their own little space with the rug. And then we're moving into my favorite part, which is our library center. And it's nice and cozy back here. We've got some stuffed animals that they can read with, some really comfortable chairs. And they can read to themselves or read to each other. And here I just pick out, for the beginning of the year, we pick out just a couple books, mostly board books, just to get them really used to those turning of those pages. Because we know that is pretty tricky when they are in preschool to start off. I'm turning around and I'll go past the whiteboard for right now. This is our STEAM center. So we have our STEAM center right back here. This is actually a door to my team teacher. And then science and STEAM. We have our tools, which is new this year, and then also like our measuring. This, for the beginning of the year, we put out the magnifying glasses with the bugs, just to start the year. Something they can investigate, and they love bugs. And then we have one side of our whiteboard. This is a one-person center that we do. And this side I haven't opened yet, only because the kids have been so interested in the science play that I want to give them plenty of room. But the nice thing about this is it's double-sided, and I'll show you that. It goes into our writing center. And then this is a section the kids know, no touchy, right? And we're going to move into our Play-Doh / art. Right now we are focused on Play-Doh. And I'll show you that center. So they usually do Play-Doh at this table. And I will show you how we do it. There's 4 trays that are set up with objects on them to start the year. They each have one Play-Doh. We don't mix it. And then if you look, you have the Play-Doh mats as well that have letters, beginning sound, letters for their name, as well as building a face. So that's fun. This is always a big hit too. And like I said, they use this table for the Play-Doh. There's that other side of the whiteboard. And that's why this one has the markers, because this one has been opened and they can use this. And that's, again, a one-person center. And then we have the kids' mailboxes. We haven't really gone over the mailbox yet because we're only in the beginning of the year. And when you're seeing this, we are on day 5 of the school year. But if you look here, so there's little Velcro dots along each one. We usually put a little picture of the student there, and they can actually mail their friends some letters. And then here is the beginning of our writing center. I always get asked about the ladder. My father actually made this, and the buckets are from IKEA. But we use it, let's see if I can get some leverage, to house extra crayons. And it's just nice and easy because when a student is missing a crayon or they need a certain color, we just walk over and we can grab one from here. And I have bigger crayons as well as the skinnier ones. So this is our writing center. And I think in another video you saw me kind of putting this center together. So this center usually grows as the kids continue learning. But right now we're just starting with the basic utensils that they've learned so far. So we've got crayons, pencils, and markers. They're learning tomorrow. So by the time they get into centers, they will be jumping into markers because they'll have just practiced with those markers. And then that is their caddies right here on top. I should say those are their caddies. One per table, and it has their fine motor journals in it that they actually do after breakfast. Some of our numbers. And I'll pan back so you can kind of get a good look at our writing center. And it kind of moves into our art center, but the kids do awesome. They Play-Doh, everybody's seated, and then there's 2 in the writing center that can use that at a time. I'm going to pan over. This is my small group table, although I very rarely pull kids. And then this is my desk area that you saw us set up. Our kitchenette, and we're very lucky we have a bathroom in the classroom, which is just awesome. And then we're moving into, on one side of this is our magnet center. Right now we're working with shapes. Mat Man will be the next center that will go into the magnets. So we're pretty excited about Mat Man. I'm going to teach that next week. And then this center is kind of cool. So this is our math and ABC, but also our puzzles and games. So we have a good variety. 8 students can work in this center. And they can choose anything from either side. So we have some games and puzzles on this side. And then turn it slowly for you. Some puzzles and games on this side. And they know they take the buckets or the puzzle or the game, and they actually will walk it over to one of our tables, which is right behind me, and I'll quickly show you those. So we have this round table and this first rectangle table, and those are the ones that they can use for the puzzles and games. One of the other tables is used for when we get our iPads. Like I said, our iPads are distributed every year by our district, and we have not received those yet. And that's okay, because they are having fun regardless. And then right here we have our sensory table. And if you look, instead of sand right now, we are using oatmeal, kind of going along with that apples kind of feel. The apples and oats and fall coming. And there's some hidden letters in there right now just to start our school year. This is our question of the week. And this will also be our Synergize Center. And then we come back around, and here we are back to our breakfast board and our classroom jobs. And then there are our beds, because they do take a nap in preschool, extra blankets, extra seat squares. Lysol is always great. And then here are our students' cubbies. All right, and that is the end of our tour. We are back to the door. More to come. I love to put our shining letter here, and that's coming soon. All right, you guys, so I hope you enjoyed our classroom tour. I loved taking you along and showing you each section of our classroom. I've said this before, but I am going to say it again. I am really excited to start this year. I think that it's going to be one of the best years. The kids are excited. I got to meet them last week during our screening time, and they just seem so wonderful. I have a good mix of 3, 4, and almost 5-year-olds, and I have a lot of kids that are returning from last year, which just makes my heart happy to be able to see them again and be able to teach them again. I have a couple younger siblings that I got that from students that I've taught before when I used to teach kindergarten, which is just really cool. It's always awesome. And then I actually have a student that is a child of my former student, which is also really fun and really cool and different. Kind of interesting to see one of your former students walk in and be the dad. So that's just really cool. So I think it's going to be a great year. I can't wait. And don't forget to like and subscribe, because I will be taking you along on new adventures. I hope you've enjoyed what you've seen so far. And if you haven't, if this is your first video, go back and watch the others. I showed putting together the room set up in 2 parts, and then also setting up my apple orchard, which is my dramatic play, which is honestly one of my favorite things about my classroom. I love it so, so much. So if you haven't seen those videos, go back and take a peek. And I hope you enjoy them. So yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next week. And yeah, I'll see you next week in Wonderland.